Well, it is October, and it's the time of year for the fungi. And actually, what is surprising me even more, because I wouldn't expect to see one at this time of year, it's also time of year for a ladybird. Do you see that? I really hadn't expected to be out at this time of year. It's because autumn's coming slowly. So I want to talk to you about the nature of reality. It's one of my absolute favourite subjects, I'm sure you know by now. But I want to go into cosmology and the bigger picture. Because, generally speaking, if you do any research about the origin of life, the inevitable three words you come up with are the Big Bang. And it's the generally accepted model of the creation of the universe. That there was a infinitesimally small speck which exploded into existence, and there's loads of astronomical and scientific data to support this. Astronomers talk about the redshift, which is the shift in the red part of the spectrum when you look at any star with a telescope. And what it shows you is that the stars are all expanding away from each other at a really huge speed. So this is actually the primary evidence for the Big Bang, and that body of water is because we've had so much rain. We've got flooding in the Isle of Avalon at the moment. So it's regarded to be the truth, the objective truth. That's what it is. The universe is created. Scientists know all about it. It's the Big Bang. Well, one of the advantages I have is I do like to look at what views about anything were in the past. In other words, I'm a student of history. And I'll tell you why I'm a student of history. I'm a student of history because when I was at school, and I was in the grammar school, I was like age 12, 13 at that point, we were learning about various different things to do with England and the Middle Ages. And it was okay, it's very well, but I had this question and I stuck up my hand and I said, when are we going to learn about China? And the answer the teacher gave me was this: no, that's not on the syllabus, we don't do China. To which I thought, what a crock of shit this is. So because I felt fundamentally let down by history in school, I made a point of studying history on my own ever since, really. So one of the things that I have noticed is that the Big Bang Theory, because remember it's only a theory, it's not a fact, the Big Bang Theory actually didn't used to always be the scientists' favourite. And in fact, if you go back to the middle of the 20th century, and I, as a child, used to come across these old Time Life books of astronomy and the universe and various subjects like that. It's all very condensed for the layman. And when it comes to origins of the universe, at that particular point, back in the middle of the 20th century, they were looking at three views. One was, the Big Bang. The second was steady state theory. Steady state theory says it all stays the same. There's no change. It seems they were ignoring the redshift to come up with that one, but nonetheless, it still was a theory. And then the third one was called pulsating universes theory. And this one sounded like the maddest one of all, because what it was suggesting is that life began with an infinitesimally tiny dot of virtual nothingness, which exploded out into a huge universe, which then collapsed in on itself into a tiny dot, which then expanded out on itself to create a whole universe, which then contracted into itself to create a tiny dot. I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? Well, when I was in India this summer, I was very interested to discover that the Hindus had strong opinions about all this. In fact, they regard the pulsating universe theory to be the one. And that got me thinking, because I keep making this point any time I get the chance to open my mouth. Indian Vedic Hindu civilization, it goes back 25,000 years. The only thing that can trump that is shamanic practice, which goes back 100,000 years. But in terms of cultures, they are pretty much undefeatable in terms of length of time. 25,000 years from our perspective is a very long time. From a universal perspective, it's barely a blink of the eye. I am aware of that too. So this is what I began to realise when I started to play with this. So this Big Bang theory of something starting from something so small it's almost like nothing and expanding outwards and going out and out and out and out and out to who knows what, because we don't have a time scale we can measure things on. We're here for such a short time. Well, isn't that just a little fragment of the pulsating universes theory? And that really got me interested. And I have a model myself which I could relate to straight away, because a long time ago I was fascinated by spirals. Then when I was trained to be shaman and I heard the herbalist say, what about the blue vortex as a method of removing negative energies? I then had the breakthrough that actually a vortex is a 3D representation of a spiral. Then I can remember taking it even further, and if you slice an apple in half from top to bottom, from the stalky bit to the bit on the other end, you will see when you open the apple up, you've got that very special shape. Well, the middle bit looks like a vortex spiralling in from the bottom to the middle, from the middle to the top, but the whole thing actually is a torus, like a donut. So just as much as a spiral is just a very small attempt to understand what is a vortex, which is a slightly bigger attempt to understand what is a torus. And the torus seems to be one of the fundamental geometric forms in our universe, very significant. Well, then the same thing could apply to the Big Bang and the pulsating universes theory. And then I thought about the sea. You stand by the sea and you watch the waves in and out, in and out. And I make it even more personal. And I think about what I'm doing. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. So maybe the pulsating universes theory actually is pretty smart, because it's describing creation in a way that actually relates to living beings. We breathe in, we breathe out. Or to take it even further, we're born, we grow, we reproduce, we become more slowing down until we let go of our physical body, and we do this thing called dying. And then along comes another human being. The plant grows, it flowers, it produces seeds, it dies, like that thistle there. And then comes more shoots in the spring, and more young plants which grow into more thistles. So it feels like the nature of reality. So I'm very much enamoured of this pulsating universes theory. It really seems to fit the model of our own experience and the experience of life. And the fact that this one has been regarded de facto to be the consensus by a culture which comprises so many billions. And you might not know this, or maybe you do know this, India is now the number one population on the planet. So that's what we are. More people in India than any other country on the planet. So billions at the moment, but over those 25,000 years, how many more mathematically huge numbers of people? pulsating universes theory. So it feels good to me, and that's what I thought I'd share with you today. All the love to you.